Ahoy hoy scrumpers, welcome. Hopefully this will be a quick one. Over the past few days, X, formerly known as Twitter, was essentially using its AI, Grok or whatever, to strip clothes from minors. This nonce factory from the country, the US, that has the Epstein ruling class, well, it's infected the UK because the US dominates the UK. It owns us, essentially. And, of course, Starmer gave a very milquetoast, oh, we should regulate it or ban it. I don't believe Starmer or the UK government will do anything against any American corporation because they own us. Then a US senator said, if we do regulate, we will be faced with sanctions. Starmer and the UK will be faced with sanctions. The British people will be faced with sanctions. Essentially, using the power of the US state to threaten the UK in the name of a private corporation that is a nonce factory. And I've been curious about the reaction from, well, the media class in the UK. And here we have, well, GB News, which is essentially the British Fox News. It is a US fifth column. And let's look at the comments. Reform, Farage, the Brexit movement were all about British sovereignty. And yet, they are absolutely fine with the US exerting control over us, domination. Any talk of even mild criticism of X is met with it's trying to limit free speech. X is not really a source of free speech. It is filled with bots and nonces and just outright hostility. What free speech? There is only a very specific kind of free speech happening there, not exactly a beneficial kind. It is a slop factory. These people don't care about that. They just want their CP and verbal abuse and verbal harassment. These are either Americans or American-brained British people. Now, I've no love of Starmer. He's a spineless coward, and he is a liar. But these people they don't care about that. They care about consuming the American slop. These are the same people who call Zach Polanski a traitor for going to Calais. However, they are absolutely fine with Farage's friends taking money from Russian oligarchs or Reform taking money from the US. Nigel Farage, during his Brexit campaign, took something about $500,000 from one of the, I believe, shareholders of BlackRock. And is BlackRock going to be beneficial? Now, don't misunderstand. Keir Starmer has done a deal with BlackRock. BlackRock itself has bought, I believe, 4,000 homes in the UK, and a BlackRock's British subsidiary, however you say that, has bought 11,000 homes. Those homes are either going to be empty or they're just going to take money from renters in perpetuity. And we'll get those are British homes in British land. This is just American imperialism, American power being exerted over the UK again, and all these people are fine with it. These are the same people who argued for sovereignty, and yet, whenever America does something, they support it. I mean, just look at these. Before Elon took over, there were active predator groups on Twitter, but they were just fine. He stopped. No, he literally hasn't. He literally has not done that. That is not true. That is literally. It is worse now. It is a predator factory. It is astonishing. Here, and British stand. Again, something I've noticed, a lot of these people are leaving out the part where that US Congresswoman said, sanction British people. They're only saying sanction Starmer. But she's also sanctioned British people. Yeah. And again, I've no love for the BBC. But these people think BBC is like communist or something. The BBC is headed by the same man who has shares in, it is GB News, I think. He helped set it up. So it's just insane. And again, these people are advocating for the US to basically just attack us and own us even more. These, again, their idea of sovereignty is subservience to the US. And they're all just repeating the same thing. And none of these people, they just want US corporations. This guy talks about a lot of digital media stuff, about how the UK is enhancing, quote unquote, security observation laws into your private life. Now, obviously, it's good he talks about that, and obviously we should take issue with that. However, he never goes as far as highlighting that Palantir and various other American companies are responsible for this. They have lobbied for our data, for our information. And it's as far as I'm concerned, again, just look at, he never goes that far. He'll only ever mention, and obviously it's bad the government is doing this, of course. But they'll never highlight it to the fact that this is part of US domination of the UK. Is it wanting to be like China? The US literally has paramilitary forces go around the streets. They literally murdered someone a few days ago. I'm no supporter of the Chinese government, but it's sort of impotent and useless to just say China bad when they're experiencing economic growth and at least a level of stability. It's over 90% home ownership in China. What's happening with the UK? And the US just starting wars. I mean, it's just, these people can't even... Oh, well, this person, JD Vance, and they probably won't... I mean, that's an obvious... I mean, that's just such blatant corruption if that's true. These people are lunatics. Educate, inform yourself. You are not going to get that on X. It is, again, it's a bot factory. It's a spreader of misinformation. And it is a nonce factory. So again, I believe this guy is just one of the people, and they're very popular now, of British streamers and content creators who just go on about how bad and rubbish Britain is to appeal to Americans largely. And I suspect or at least this guy will take that turn, because he never goes as far as saying what is the root cause of this. He just goes. He also argued in his video that X has a right to exist. No, it doesn't. It does not have a right to exist at all. It is a company. It is a legal fiction. It has only the legal rights it is allowed to have. It's not a person. I mean, even though the US regards corporations as people and important people, But even if we conceded that it has a right to exist, which it doesn't, that's such a silly absolutist term. It doesn't have the absolute right to operate in a foreign country. It's a foreign corporation. We forget that Americans are foreigners and outsiders. They're not part of us. And so he thinks that it just has a right to exist. No, it doesn't, especially if it's a nonce factory, especially if it exists as it does now. Giving corporations who have all this power more rights and protections than the average person, so far it has just led to nothing but disaster. Look at how all these American corporations are just getting worse and more greedy and ruining the planet. So yeah, this guy's ridiculous. And he will never question power. He'll say, government bad, and yes, government bad. But this American libertarian stupidity has just infected the UK. The US is not our friend. Stop buying into their propaganda. Stop buying into their talking points, their lies. It is only going to melt your brain.